everyone, welcome back to Best Laid Plans. For this week's video, I wanted to do something that was a little more close to my heart in a DIY rather than do anything that was like a haul or shopping. Just something that was something uplifting and inspiring for you, hopefully, during this time when we're seeing the world very much at war and everything happening with the situation in Ukraine. So I hope that this video brings you a smile today and maybe inspires you to do something positive and creative and to put that energy out into the world. So that is today's DIY goal. And what we're going to be making is a DIY happy notes. So there will be a couple things you will need for this. Some stuff is optional. So just know you can kind of dress this up, dress this down. But I'm actually going to be doing this as a birthday gift for a very close friend of mine who's been through a real lot this year and this past year, and she's really helped me. And so I wanted to make her something special for her birthday because she is also a planner. So Ashley, if you're watching this, stop. It's not your birthday yet. Just kidding. You can watch. It's fine. But that's who I'm going to be making it for. And so I have just kind of pulled pieces that I knew would speak to what she loves and her interest. You can obviously make this for yourself. I do think it makes a great gift for others as well. So without further ado, let's get into what you're going to need to make this. So the basic materials you'll need for this are going to be a pencil, and then you're going to need something to cut with, whether that's scissors, and then a straight edge or ruler. I'm using my Fiskars for that, so that makes it a little bit easier. You're also going to need a glue stick, potentially as well. And then I will be using this classic size Happy Notes cover to trace so that we have the correct measurements. And the reason why is when I cut, even if it's a little bit smaller or even if it goes all the way across where it's laminated, we know that if it's this size, it's going to cover our Happy Note pages. So I'm using just extra filler paper. You could obviously punch paper, but go ahead and have that handy for tracing. The next thing you're going to want to have is either, again, this is optional, this is a corner rounder punch for rounding corners, but you could also just use scissors. You're going to want to have some embellishments. I have some Happy Planner stickers. She loves peonies and cherry blossoms, so I have these stickers, and then she loves the band, or I guess the performance group Twice, the K-pop group. She loves Vera Bradley and Harry Potter, so I got a little swatch of the Vera Bradley Harry Potter pattern, and Cardcaptor Sakura. So I pulled all those together. You're also going to need some disc. You can use any disc for the Happy Planner. I'm actually going to be using the beautiful grape colored purple glitter crescent moon ones that we got with the Stargazer Happy Box. And then you can use scrapbook paper of your choice. I loved this moon pattern here, so I'm going to be using this for the cover and the back cover. And then this is optional, but I also wanted to have something for the inside. So I got the purple and the pink starburst from the same scrapbook pad. And that one I'm using, by the way, is the Orion's Belt from Recollections. So this is available at Michael's. And what we're going to be doing with all of this is creating the covers for our Happy Notes. And when we are at the final stage, just know you will need either, you can use your Happy Planner punch or a regular hole punch and then snip the lines to make the little umbrella shaped one. But I'll be using my Happy Planner punch. If you have an arc punch, it'll be the same kind. So just want to have that handy. And then you'll either need self-laminating sheets, enough for a front and back cover, or you'll need laminating packs, and then I'm going to be using my Scotch laminator to put this together. So you can use either the self-laminating sheets, you can get those on Amazon, I know Walmart has them, so that's probably the easiest way. And then if you have kind of the do-it-yourself covers that Happy Planner sells, you can also use those and not do any laminating. But I recommend laminating just because it makes it fancier, more durable. And if you're going to invest in something and you like making your own covers and dashboards and other accessories, I highly recommend the Scotch laminator. I think I got this for like $25 on Amazon, and it's been real great. I used it to make bookmarks one year for presents for Christmas and sending cards to folks. So I think laminators are super helpful. So I will be using this. So that is pretty much all of our supplies. And the first thing we're going to do then is use our cover to measure our scrapbook paper for the front and back cover and get those pieces ready. Okay, so we're ready for step one, and hopefully my dogs are all settled down in the background. And won't be barking. If they do, this will be a voiceover. And you'll hear from voiceover Heather. But right now we're just going to film in real time, and I have my example cover for my dimensions here, and I've chosen this for my front and back, and then I have chosen for the inside front cover this purple, and for the inside back cover this really pretty pink starburst. So I'm going to first do the front and back covers. And fun fact, if you have a double-sided sheet of scrapbook paper, then you do not need to do the step where I am gluing these, the front to the back after we cut them, because you'll already have a front and back. So just know that is totally optional if you have, and you can also leave this plain on the inside. You don't necessarily have to go and have something on the inside. I just like it, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to flip this over to the side that I'm covering up. And now sometimes if I was going to conserve paper, I would put it in the corners, but because I don't want to have like a weird pattern like here and I want it to be even, I'm actually going to place it into the center and trace it there. So I'm putting my hand down just to stabilize it, so you can see that if we do that, it's not going to go all over the place. So just like that. And then I'm just going to trace with my pencil. And there we have it. So another way of doing this is obviously to get the Happy Planner classic measurements, which you can definitely Google, and people they have them for the mini and all the sizes. I like tracing just because I have hands that can be slippery, so I want to make sure that when I cut my pattern out that I'm not going off of something that's not the right size because my hand slipped when I was doing the ruler and the measurement. So that's the way I like to do it. So, and it means that you don't have to necessarily have those measurements handy to do this, because you're just going off of, you know, what's already there. So there's that. So it looks like I was a little wobbly toward the bottom, so I'm gonna trim here first. And like I said, you can use scissors, but I'll be using my fixed scars, so I want to make sure. I think actually I'm going to trim it down a little bit because it's, I don't know about how big your cutting board is, but mine does not like 12 by 12 paper. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit down around where I traced, and then I will go ahead and cut it. So then take your guesstimation tool here, your Happy Notes cover, your Happy Planner cover, And then I'm gonna put this over it. I'm gonna turn it over, and you can see that it's gonna be big enough. So I actually think I can trim a little bit more off of the edges here. So right here, it looks like there's still some pencil marks, so I'm gonna do that. Just a smidge. Now let's check this again. Looks good. So now that I have this cut to the size that I want, what I'm going to do is now use this piece as the pattern to cut the other covers out. So I'm going to take this and go onto the back cover, just making sure I have my moons going the same way. So again, this is totally optional, but I did go ahead and I did the same step of tracing and cutting to get my back cover and my front cover, front and back. Again, totally optional, especially if you are using double-sided scrapbook paper anyway, or you just will leave it blank. If you do want to leave it blank, make sure you have trimmed over any of your tracing lines. So we are all set to go now. What I'm going to do next is just to finish trimming and decorating everything. I am going to be doing my front and back covers and going ahead and gluing them together. And then I can trim them down a little bit more if needed. So here we go. So now we get to the really fun part, which is decorating. If, like me, you have a little extra, like you need to trim on the sides, don't worry about that right now. We're gonna trim it one more time and get it really neat and clean, and then also round the corners before we laminate. So now we're just going to have fun decorating. I'm gonna start with the inside front and back cover because I do have things to add to those. So I have Cardcaptor Sakura here, and I think I'm going to put her here, and then I'm going to do twice here, and then add stickers around those. So well, maybe down here. Yeah, I think that'll be really pretty. So I'm just going to play some music and you can watch me do the inside decoration, and then we'll move to the front cover. Do the front cover. So I'm gonna get my Vera Wang sample print ready here, and I think I'm gonna put it more toward the top. My decoration done for the inside covers as well as the front and back cover, I am going to go ahead and trim very carefully any excess still remaining so that it's even, and then I'll go through and corner round everything. have the back and front covers, and they are all set to laminate, and we have rounded our corners as well. So these are all good to go. So now the next step is really going to be to do the laminating part. So I'm going to warm up my Scotch laminator and run these through. So a neat trick with lamination, if you have the same laminator or another one, to get the thickness, because this is like a nice snappy thickness on Happy Planner products, to get that same thickness, I actually run it through multiple times, and I use multiple laminating sheets just to make that thickness. So I'm gonna get this one ready. So this is our cover. So you see we've got that. So I'm going to first run it through like that, and then I'm going to run it through there. And I'm going to try to line up the corner a little bit so that I don't have as much that I need to trim on this. So I ran it through a couple more times with that second layer of lamination on, and you can see that it is much thicker and not flimsy, and it's going to hold up much more like the actual Happy Planner covers do. So I do recommend using 2 laminating sheets if you're going to be using a laminator, just to get that thickness. So I have the front cover all laminated and done. So I'm going to move on to the back cover, do the same thing, and then we will start to cut it out and punch. And now we have fully laminated front and back covers with our inside covers as well. Just think this is going to be really, really pretty. So when your lamination is all done, you'll want to next just trim around, leaving just like a little bit of edge of the lamination. Just kind of try to copy what Happy Planner does. So there's about yay amount of lamination all throughout. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to trim these both down, and then once I have them trimmed, I will round the corners with my corner rounder, or you can just do that with your scissors. And now we finally get to assemble our Happy Notes. So I am going to be first adding these discs to these covers, and then I will be filling it with some nice different types of classic filler paper so that there is a little notebook. And finally, it is finished and ready to go. I did end up taking it off and trimming it a bit and then laminating it in a third pouch and then punching it again. I didn't show my punching it on camera because I kind of have to like practically sit on my Happy Planner punch to get it to punch. So if you want to do a lot of laminating covers, I do recommend finding a different punch that is going to be better with thicker paper or laminated paper because it was a chore. But it is done now, and here we have the finished book. So here is the front cover, and we have our disc, and I'm gonna open it up, and there's the inside cover with Sakura. And then I also made a little dashboard bookmark for the happy notes for her, and I use the same method that I use in my other DIY tutorial using packaging from Happy Planner to make planner accessories. So I will link to that in a card if you want to learn how I made the clear dashboard. But other than that, I've got paper here, and kind of keeping with my color palette. And here we have the back cover, and we have our Twice girls looking awesome. And there we go. So I will be giving this as a birthday present to my good friend Ashley. So I am really excited about that. I hope that she enjoys this notebook and it brings her a smile. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I like to do DIYs from time to time, but it's a really great idea if you're going to try and use your stash up or you're on a no spend, just to try to figure out different ways you can reuse materials or create something different. I really enjoyed this. I will again leave description of anything that I used, the steps, and those measurements in case you want them in the description box. But that is it for this week's video. I will see you all again next week. Please stay safe out there and know that I care about each of you very, very much. I will catch you in the next one. Bye!